All right, once Chase and Ian get settled here, we'll open it up here for questions. Gonna let a few people here come on in. We all set? Everybody in their spots? All right. We got any questions here for student athletes? Gotta be something out there. You got one here? Let's go in front.
Tom Carroll, WEEI. Guys, just simple off the top here. What do you think the ceiling is for your team heading into this tournament?
Oh yeah, we feel great. We feel great. We're ready to play. We've been getting some good practices in, and just preparing for McNeese. And yeah, we feel great, feel confident, and we're ready to play.
I think especially after the run we had last year, we know what it takes to kind of get back to that spot, and just take it one game at a time. Can't overlook McNeese, and they're a good team, and be ready to play them.
Thanks, guys. Anything else up there? Gotta be something. Let's have Mr. Beret ask a question.
Tim Beret, Clemson Radio. What have the coaches told you about McNeese, their style of play? Obviously, you have to be prepared for their pressing defense.
Yeah. We know that they like to switch a lot. They like to press, obviously, like you said. They play really hard. They're a team that plays really free on offense. They have some guys who can shoot, have some guys who really like to drive. But they're a good team. That's what we know, and we just need to be prepared for them.
Yeah, I think one key is just keeping them off the offensive glass. They're one of the best offensive rebounding teams, not just in the conference but in the country. So just keeping them off the glass and rebounding.
All right. Right here, back.
Yeah, Chuck Culpepper from the Washington Post. A lot of people have said through the years that the Elite Eight is the hardest place to lose in the whole sequence because many things. For one thing, you're in your locker room hearing the celebration outside. I wonder if that sticks with you a lot because of the juncture where it happened, the stage of the tournament where it happened.
Yeah, it definitely stung. It stung a lot last year. Just to know that we were that close to being in the Final Four. A few plays away, a few baskets from, being on that bigger stage. But it's all motivation. That's what we've been using it as, going to this season. Just motivated to, be in that moment again and, being able to win.
I agree with Chase. We were, probably a few plays away from making the Final Four, and, that's everyone's dream at the end of the day. And, going into the summer is definitely something that me and Chase kind of, bringing in these new guys and, telling them how much fun it is to be going on this run and, try to get back to that spot. And, we know what it takes to get back there and, we're going to take it one game at a time.
Thanks, guys. Anything else up there? All right. Here with Pat.
Pat 40 from Sports Illustrated. I watched, the triple overtime game against Georgia Tech and thought you guys would be completely gassed after that. And you turned around, had some great performances. What does that say, I guess, about the resiliency you all have?
Yeah, it just speaks to, this team and, the players and coaches. We never want to give up. And, we know we can win any game. Obviously, Louisville game, we were out down a lot and, still came back and were one possession away. But I think it just speaks to, the mentality of the players and coaches, knowing that we can go in any game and win. And, no matter what happens, we're always in the game.
I agree with Chase. That game didn't end how we wanted it to. It was a long, hard-fought game, and I think we had Duke next game. So, we had to, mentally just change pages and get ready for the nest game. And, this team's a lot of older guys, so we kind of know how to, flip. You're not going to win every game. So, just switching that mentality to the next game and just being prepared for that game.
Thanks, guys. Here in back left.
Hi, Phil Kornblut, Sports Talk Media Network in South Carolina. The three-point shooting has sort of dropped off the last three games. Is that a concern for you guys going into this? Is it something that's sort of weighing on you a little bit?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think that, it happens sometimes in this game. You just got to go into the next game ready, confident in yourself. And, I think that we'll definitely shoot it well. We're just going to keep putting up shots. And, it's just moving on to the next game and being confident for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to shoot the ball well every night. And, you know, I think that's one reason this team's good is that we can find ways to win even when we're not shooting great every night. And, you know, we're going to have guys ready to shoot. And, you know, they're going to shoot shots that they normally take and have full trust in everybody shooting the ball. So, you know, hopefully it'll pick up a little bit.
Right here to the right.
Don Munson, Clemson Radio. All right, guys, so what has Dylan's influence now become on the team? Broken hand out, but how does he influence things?
Yeah, I think it's just, you know, being that leader on the sideline. You know, just, you know, I told him last game, you know, talk to me, let me know what you see out there on the floor. You know, let me know what you're thinking. You know, because when you're out of the game, you can really see more. You know, being in the game, you're kind of just really locked in. And so, you know, for me, it's just talking to him, and, you know, telling him to, you know, lead me in ways, you know, that he usually hasn't. And then just being that extra leader on the floor or off the floor, and, you know, giving us different pointers and things that we need to know.
I think the biggest thing since he's been injured is just, you know, his energy he provides. But at the end of the day, even when he's on the side, he's still providing that energy, and he's still great about being happy and, you know, cheering up other players and, you know, talking to other players and, you know, just still bringing that energy. Even though he's not playing, he's still there and just making an impact.
Thanks, guys. Anything else for Chase or Ian? Going once, going twice. Nothing else? You guys can head back. Thanks for your time.
Thank
Good
you.
luck tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
All right, once Coach gets settled, we get some folks in here. We'll open up the floor to some questions. Anything out the jump here for Coach Brownell? Got to be something up there. Right here in the back. Go ahead. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, Phil Kornblut, Sports Talk Media Network in South Carolina. It's been reported you're getting a big new deal with Clemson. Can you give us some details, your thoughts on this commitment from them
Yeah.
to you?
Very close to ironing it out. Extremely grateful. I've had a bunch of meetings with Graham really as the regular season was kind of coming to an end that last week. He got with me and we started to have some conversations, preliminary conversations. Certainly they've heated up over the last week or so and it's been really good and we're, close to being able to finalize something. Obviously I'm extremely excited about it, happy. Clemson's been a very special place for me and my family for 15 years and just have thoroughly enjoyed building the program. Love what Clemson stands for as a university and proud to be a part of it. Certainly sent my daughters there, so we're all in, as Dabo likes to say, and excited about where my program is. I think we've done an unbelievable job, from facility improvements all the way to success initiatives on the floor, off the floor, and excited to try to continue this level of success.
Thanks, Coach. Pat, right here.
Hey, Brad, Pat 40 from Sports Illustrated. The run you guys made to the Final Eight last year, how much do you think that maybe has kind of helped change the perception and then to carry it over with the season you guys have had this year?
Yeah, I do. I do think it helped in recruiting, certainly in transfer portal. We'd had some success. We've been to a Sweet 16 back in 18 and had been competitive in our league, but making another run like that in the NCAA tournament, high visibility, high exposure at exactly the right time when the portal's opening and all the things that you're dealing with. It's also been really good for this year's team. Just guys know what they're kind of playing for. Chase and Ian especially, Chauncey Wiggins, Dylan Hunter, guys who were, integral part of last year's run. I think that kind of success fuels you, and you want to continue to do it. You want to be in big-time games and play significant games in March, and I think it helped, grow our team and fuel our team a little bit throughout the course of the season.
Right here in front, Coach.
Zagoria, NJ.com. How you doing?
Good.
Will Wade's obviously been successful at a bunch of different schools. He's now being linked to a school in your conference. He told us here he was talking to them. I guess what makes him successful as a coach, and maybe what are some of the hallmarks of his teams?
Yeah, very aggressive defensively. A lot of pressing and changing of defenses, 1-3-1, 2-2-1, 1-2-2, diamond press, five-way switching this year's team. So they run the gamut at you. I think he's done that probably. I know he did it at VCU and probably LSU as well. He's obviously recruited very well, and I think he gives his guys a lot of confidence on offense. They play with a lot of freedom, and guys, certainly are aggressive in making plays.
Right here to the right, Coach.
Coach, this is Grayson Man with TigerNet. Just how has this week been like for someone like Chauncey Wiggins, whose role has been elevated with Dylan Hunter out of the starting lineup? Just what have you seen from him as you've ramped up preparation?
Yeah, I mean, Chauncey's been a starter for several games this year. I mean, he's fine. He's fine starting, coming off the bench. He's a confident scorer. I think he's a guy that will play well. I don't think anything really changes. Obviously, losing Dylan is a little bit of an issue just from the standpoint of he's the ultimate glue guy, and he does all the little things that coaches love that don't always show up as points. But we've got other players that are going to get more opportunity. Jake Hybridder, Dell Jones, and they don't play exactly like Dylan, but they certainly fill a role and can be productive in the minutes that they do get, and I expect those guys to play well.
Thanks, Coach. Anything else out there? Right here.
Coach Don Munson, Clemson Radio. I asked Ian and Hunter this question. As a coach, what do you see Dylan's role now being?
Yeah, he needs to be a leader, and everything that goes with that. Cheerleader at times, he needs to have serious conversations with his teammates every once in a while. You know, I joke, but he's one of the few guys on our team that will confront his brother, right? His brother's, you know, probably our best player, and a lot of times guys on the team don't like to confront the best player. Your little brother will. And so there are times, it doesn't happen often, when I have heard Dylan get after Chase on some things, like, man, you got a little more in the tank, you know. So it's kind of fun to watch those two guys play together and have conversations together. But he can be a big leader for our team. He can really help talk to guys like Dell Jones and Jake Heidritter when they're on the bench, you know, Chauncey Wiggins, whoever it is. And he'll be very involved. You know, I think it was hard for him in the ACC tournament because, you know, it just happened, and it was gut-wrenching. I mean, that's, you know, these guys dream of playing in this tournament, and obviously his role has continued to grow. This is the first time he was starting for us, and so I think that was hard for him in the ACC tournament, especially the Louisville game. You know, now that he's had a week to kind of process, I think he understands more, and I actually talked to him about, you know, what we need from him in his new role.
Thanks, Coach. You're back left.
Was your locker room door open today?
Was
Here.
my locker room? Yeah,
Well, it wasn't locked.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, we were fine.
Okay.
So we'll see at halftime tomorrow.
The way the ACC tournament ended for you in a controversial way, they've been coming up short, and I know you guys were thinking ACC tournament championship, though, but what kind of fire, what kind of inspiration maybe do you take from that going into this? Is there some kind of little edge, a little chip on the shoulder type
Yeah,
thing?
I mean, a little. I think we're on to new things, though. You know, it's not like we're using that as some super rallying cry. It's a little different than last year when we played so poorly. You know, against Boston College this year, it was more we just didn't play as well as we'd like. You know, made a ferocious fight there at the end, but, you know, came up a little short. It's really more learning about why we didn't play as well during parts of the Louisville game and how we have to correct that.
Anything else? That's it.
Okay.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
Appreciate your time.
everybody.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
We'll be back here at 1:20 with the Arkansas student athletes. We'll get those names here in a second.